every beautiful thing that we see with the space of tourism. Now, starting off, the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is an annual tourism and travel trade show that is organized by the Uganda Tourism Board. Now, each year, the expo brings together tourism value chain players and stakeholders under the B2B, business to business, and B2C, business to consumer formats of networking opportunities as well as business deals. Now, this year, Powate 2025 will be held at the brand new Peak Resort and Convention Center in Munyonyo, Kampala from the 21st of May to 24th May 2025, and it will be the 9th edition of the Powate. Now, let's have a look at the statistics of, and that is the performance of the tourism industry in the recent months alone. In 2024, Uganda's tourism sector saw a remarkable growth, with international tourist arrivals recovering to 89.2% of the pre-pandemic. And tourism receipts reached a record high of 1.28 billion, which is a 25.9% increase compared to the year 2023. Now, with that being said, with that beautifully planned tourism space and added tangible value is a force to reckon behind it, and that is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism, Doreen Katusiime. She recently added to her cabin the Nalubale Medal, as she was decorated by the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, on 1st May during the Labor Day celebrations in Karamoja. Now, I got a chance to catch up with her. Just take a look at our discussion. All right, thank you so much for joining UBC TV, here always to inspire you. And one of the ways we inspire you is bringing to you people, citizens of Uganda, who do enough and more than enough to serve their country and showcase their patriotic spirit. Now, recently was the Labor Day celebrations in Nakapiripirit, and many people were awarded. And one of them is here with us, and that is Doreen Katusiime, who is the Permanent Secretary for Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. She was honored with a Distinguished Order of the Nile Medal for her excellence in service and outstanding service. At that, outstanding is the key word. But also she plays many roles as the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Tourism. She plays a key role in launching events and initiatives that are related to tourism in Uganda. And she's here to have a conversation with us, what inspires her, what pushes her, how she can inspire you as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining. Watch her story as she tells it. Thank you so much for joining us, Doreen.
Thank you very much, Julie.
Yes, good to have you.
I'm very glad, delighted to be.
Congratulations on your honor.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
How do I feel? I feel validated, because oftentimes the work we do in the public service, often it feels like a thankless job, because in most cases you feel like nobody appreciates what you're doing. So it's gratifying to feel that out there your work is appreciated and it is actually acknowledged.
All right. Let's get to the genesis of all of it. Tell us about yourself.
Well, Doreen, middle name is Silva. That's my maiden name, Katusiime. You already know that I'm a PS, so maybe I should tell me a little more about myself.
Yes.
I am a mother of 4 adults. I am a grandmother. I am a wife for the last 40 years. I am a mother-in-law. I have served this government for slightly over 40 years now, since 1984. It has been a journey. The journey always has its ups and downs, but here I am. I have grown through the ranks from the bottom. I actually started as a teacher. I qualified as a teacher in 1983 from university. I taught in a few schools. My last station was City High School. And then I joined I felt like my calling was more in administration. So I joined the administration, and I have I aligned myself that way, and I have grown through the ranks to the apex of my career.
Right. 40 years is a long time of service.
It is a long time. Most of you were not born.
Indeed. And like you've mentioned that it's not easy to work without recognition. You just work effortlessly, whether you're recognized or not. You don't even know whether you're recognized. But what has kept you going up until this point where you were recognized with a Nile medal?
Well, I think there are several factors. Some factors are personal, others are external. But as I grew up, I was an only daughter with 7 brothers. And my mother was always worried that being an only girl, I was going to get spoiled, and my father was spoiling me, I would not be successful. So throughout my years of growing up, I was driven by that need to prove to her that I would actually succeed. And she always told me, I don't know why, but she always told me that whatever you do, even when you dress up, feel like you are the best. Whatever you do, be best at it. So it comes right from, I think, my upbringing. But I must also say that as I started working, there were other factors. And one of them is that I had good mentors. So I have not done it alone. I had good role models, I would say. When I joined the service, I started in the Ministry of Cooperatives and Marketing. That's what it was called then, 1991. And we had a PS called Mr. Ortega. He's still alive, long retired, but he really made it a point to mentor me. And then I found then who was our Undersecretary, Mr. Lubanga. Have you heard about Mr. Lubanga? Mr. FX Lubanga, he's now retired as well. He mentored me at that level as a Senior Assistant Secretary. I moved on to Ministry of Water, Natural Resources. I came to Education as a Principal Assistant Secretary. I found him as PS. He mentored me again, and he always told me, I know where you're heading. You will be a PS one day. So you must behave like this. You must pursue excellence. Whatever you do must be. So it's been both intrinsic but also external.
Right. You have talked about mentorship as something that has been key along your journey, and it's something rare in our generation. Speak into the importance of mentorship, especially to us, the younger generation. Given that Uganda is 75% a young population, that means we're the ones holding the country right now, and we need these skills. So speak into the importance of mentorship.
Mentorship is very key in one's career growth, and I really do hope that I have also mentored people, and they will be able to say that I did this because I was mentored. I'll just give you an example. I had just joined the Ministry of Education, and I was I don't know if you know the ranks of administrative officers, principal at that time. And we had an event where the Vice President, then Honorable Wandera Kazibu, was coming as guest of honor. It was a very big event. Actually, the President was coming, but he delegated the Vice. And my PS said, you are going to be the MC. And that night I didn't sleep. In the morning I went back to him, I said, I can't do it. He said, you're going to do it. And he said, that is called baptism by fire. And I did it.
Interesting.
And after doing it, I got the courage. And after that, it started, being easy.
Right.
So that is part of mentorship. Somebody gives you challenging assignments. He would make us write policy documents, write cabinet papers. So by the time you become a PS, it's easy. It's even easier for you to supervise the people below you because you know they've been there. You know what they are going through. So mentorship is very important. It's very difficult to really make it without mentors. Right. People you look up to that have also made, you admire them, you look up to them, but they mentor you through.
Right. In our generation, we call it the deep end. You learn from the deep end while swimming in the deep end. Yes.
And you swim and
make it eventually. What are some of those milestones you have achieved along the journey of your career?
Well, several of them, but maybe I start from becoming a PS. Like I've told you, I have gone through the ranks, and it was always my, should I say dream, but I always wanted to get to the apex of my career. In those days, we would do exams at each level, especially from principal to undersecretary, from undersecretary to... So when we were due to become PSCs, the service opened up. Before it used to be for administrative officers, but now the technical teams also became the commissioners, the CAOs. So it was, we sat for interviews, we were 50 of us when we started. From 50, we became 18. From 18, there were only 3 positions for PSCs. So we did the 3 levels of interviews, and I still emerged the best candidate. For me, that was a huge milestone. But then I come to Ministry of Tourism. And I joined at the end of 2016. And like you said, as a PS, you play several roles. I am a PS here, but I also oversee agencies. Uganda Wildlife Authority, Uganda Tourism Board. So we were going through a difficult time. Like everybody felt tourism was not being felt, was not bringing in the numbers. And so we did several changes in the leadership at the agencies. But major milestone for me was from 2017, by 2020, before COVID, we had doubled the revenue that tourism was bringing in.
Right.
No, not the revenue that, I'm not talking about the contribution to GDP, but the revenue that we collect as ministry and these agencies. Because when I came in, we were collecting about between 60 and 70 billion. And by the time COVID hit, we had hit 120 something billion. And by that time, we had also become the highest foreign exchange earner for Uganda, taking over from, before that it was remittances, then I think coffee. Now coffee has overtaken because of the effects of COVID, but I believe we shall still get back. We shall, yeah.
Right, right.
So some of the few, I can talk about several, but over the last few years, our budgets also grew more than triple. Because I came in when our budget for the ministry was below 20 billion. It would be between 2012 and 14. Now we are talking of 40 something billion. And it's the first time that the Ministry of Tourism has work or projects going on in all the regions of Uganda. And projects that are in billions of shillings that we are, you go to the source of the Nile, you find we are working. You'll go to Dokolo in northern Uganda, you'll find work going. You go to the Rwenzori, you'll find work is going on. I don't know if you have been to our school in Jinja or our school in Kasese, but a lot of work is going on. And that for me, very gratifying.
Right. Along these moments of achieving, growing, and impact, is there a moment where you felt the impact and realized the impact of every project and mission you've landed?
Yes, several times, but the major one is when we pushed and tourism development program became a standalone program in the NDP3. Because when I joined, the ministry used to be, you remember that time were sectors, and it was tourism, trade, and industry. We pushed and it became tourism sector. But now when we started the program approach to budgeting and planning, we were able to be recognized as a priority sector, a primary growth sector. So tourism now is a standalone program. So we bring together all the other agencies and ministries that contribute to our outputs, like immigration, like works, because of infrastructure. But we are a program, a standalone program. So I lead this program. For us, that was a major breakthrough, but we didn't stop there. You may know that today, government is pursuing the tenfold growth strategy, so that by 2040, we should have grown tenfold. Now, tourism is among the four priority sectors. We call them ATMs: agro, industrialization. Tourism is number 2. Minerals, including oil and gas, and then science and technology. It had never happened. We are going back maybe to when I was growing up in the 60s. I'm sure you hear President Museveni talking about it. It used to be the 3 C's and the 3 T's. Yeah, coffee, copper, cotton, tobacco, tourism, and tea. Then tourism sort of was, I think government always felt, maybe because we were recovering from a lot of things, so the priority was, let's do the infrastructure, let's do the roads, let's do the power, tourism will grow. But now we have brought it to the forefront.
Right. When, as you were looking towards 1st May and the celebrations of 1st May, the moment you learned that you were going to receive the Nile Order Medal, how did you feel in that moment from the first listen of the notification?
Well, I don't know. I was not excited.
Why?
But I don't know why. It's a very strange feeling. And I didn't get to know actually until I think that week, just before the ceremony. I had received my card to. Then later I was told by Uganda Wildlife Authority that I had been nominated. I think when you're nominated, whoever nominates you waits to see whether that nomination is actually approved, because the committee, the Chancery, must sit and review the nomination and do some background checks. So I was told that I had been nominated and the committee had approved. But I was actually told that I was nominated for the medal, not the one that I got. It was something a little lower. I was told that I had been nominated and for the medal called the Order of the Crested Crane, which is still quite high. Then a few days the event, I was told that now it seems the committee looked at my profile and actually awarded me something higher. I don't know why I was not excited, but I was a bit anxious actually.
I mean, looking
and
at
it was more
the 40 years of service, wasn't there that feeling of finally someone recognizes my
Now
work?
that came at the event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I got the news, I didn't feel that way. But now at the event, standing there and, you know, seeing this whole crowd and knowing the whole of Uganda is watching and the president himself is there to decorate me, I felt, oh, finally, my work has been recognized and achieved. It was, I would say, very gratifying. It's some sense of satisfaction. Yeah.
Right.
That's how
what does this mean to you personally and professionally?
Well, personally, like I said, it's gratifying to know that my work is recognized, it's appreciated, but it also gives me the impetus, the zeal to say, I've done 40 years. If I have to do another 3 years, I must maintain, you know, in my language, there's a saying, but I can say it in English. It's like you go to fetch water, and when you're just entering the house, the pot breaks. Those days they used to fetch water so I wouldn't want anything to taint this image. So it's gratifying, but also it's kind of challenging to say, well, this is now, you are known as a medalist, as somebody that has achieved excellence, that has been outstanding. But in addition to that, professionally, it gives me the challenge to inspire the people I work with, even the communities, to say, your work, you may think that you're just working and nobody notices, but out there people recognize, people appreciate. If you're not doing a good job, of course, they will also notice. So gives me that challenge to want to inspire the people that I work with to say, you can do it, you can make it.
Right.
Yeah.
What principles and values have you held that are personal to you but have led you to this achievement along the journey of your career?
Several principles. First of all, I should say that I am a Christian. I believe in God. And there is a verse that is like what is at the heart of everything that I do. If you read the Bible, you can go back and read it. It's Colossians chapter 3, verse 23.
Right.
And it says, whatever you do, do it with your heart, all your heart, knowing that you're doing it for God and not for the human masters. That has been like my guiding principle, because sometimes you do, and you do what you think is a good job. And maybe it's not appreciated, and maybe it is not as good as you think, but when you know that you are doing it with your heart, and you mean to, actually, you mean well, then you don't get distracted by either criticism or lack of appreciation. But in addition to that, coming back to the principles, I would say 2 principles. One is integrity. I believe in doing the right thing, whether I am being watched or not, and being true. If I say I can't do this, if I'm not able, I will say I can't do it. I will not do it. If you come and ask me, if I'm able to do it, I will do it, and I will try. So I believe in reliability and being honest.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, there are many people who are watching and are looking forward to having heavy impact on their communities. As leaders, as citizens of Uganda, what would be your message to someone who has a zeal to impact their nation, their community, to impact as leaders?
Well, I would say 2 things, and one is related to what you had just asked me. One must, first of all, know what it is that you want to be in life. What do you want to achieve? What are your goals? And then pursue them. Because sometimes we are not even very sure. I was telling that I started as a teacher, and I loved teaching. But after some time, I felt like maybe that's not my calling.
Right.
So when I decided now to go into administration, I had to catch up with the other people who were already ahead of me. I had to do all these courses in public administration. I had to do the law course. I had to catch up. So I tell the people that I work with normally that, one, you must know what you want, but be passionate about it. You can't afford to be, half-hearted, mediocre. You must, if you want to achieve something, then keep improving yourself. Always want to know more. Be curious. Want to learn from others, but most importantly, allow feedback. Many times we have a problem of, even when it's positive feedback, we feel like, oh, this person is not to be. But if you don't get feedback and accept it and take it positively, you can't grow. So I think for me, those are the 2 messages. Know what you want, go for it, improve yourself, but allow feedback.
Right. Thank you very much, Doreen.
You're most welcome.
It's been such a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Wow, thank you.
As we inspire Uganda here on UBC TV.
Thank you.
Takeaways for me personally: improve yourself, value addition, mentorship has stood out for me, and integrity is one of the other things that have stood out for me, but also accept feedback and ride by it.
Amen.
Thank you so much for being on the show and for watching UBC Uganda, here to inspire you. Well, that is the conversation that I had the opportunity to have with Doreen Katusiime. What has stood out for you? Many things stood out for me. A lot I learned from her on that day. But what have you learned? Do share your lessons on 0709602592. Will be nice for us to read them and know how impacted you have been. But that's it from her. And one thing that stood out for me majorly is something that she holds on to. And that is the scripture in Colossians 3:23, that whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. With that being said, let me remind you that Cohort 2025, which shall be the 9th edition, will be on the 21st, starting on the 21st of May, all the way to the 24th of May. It will be at the brand new Speak Resort and Convention Center in Munyonyo, Kampala. So be sure to be a part of it. It shall also be brought to you live here on UBC TV. For now, Good Morning Uganda does continue. We do have business, we do have tourism, we do have the agenda. So a lot still in stock for you. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studio.